Gary, but they're going to talk about your targets. Now your target area, which is here, at the back of the service box, anywhere here. So generally what I say, and targets are really easy to work out. If you start with a general target of service box and behind, then you work on half service box and behind, then you go half behind service box, then you go into about 4 floorboards, and then you reduce depth back to half of that way, then you'll go back to maybe 2/3 that way, then you'll drop back to a full racket, and then you drop back to about a racket head. Now I would generally say that if you can keep around about a racket size as your target, that's a pretty good size area to hit. And I've seen people put a matchbox on the court, or matchbox not nowadays, a ball on the court, you know, a box from the ball or anything, and they play, and if you hit that, you're pretty cool. And they might practice to try and hit that spot. But what's more important than just hitting that one spot, that might be one shot that happens that's really good, and if you keep driving, you'll hit it, so there's no drama at all. Well, people put a shoe on the court, and that's all fine. It gives them a visual aid or a visual target. But what you should be really concentrating on is your groupings. So it's more important to not have the bad shots than it is to have the one awesome good shot. So the bad shots are the ones where you're going to lose 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rallies before you get one shot that hits the box or hits the ball or hits the shoe. So it's about groupings. You should have a bigger target area that you consistently and relentlessly hit into. Even if it's half behind service box, the ball just goes in there. That's a pretty good target area to hit. That if you're going to drive and the ball relentlessly goes in there all the time, in there, and it's pretty good. I'm a bit short, the ball's not warm, so I've got to lift it up. But my target should be there, and it's on the wall. There you go. So as a really good exercise to do is to have someone with a bit of paper and have you drive, or you can do it on video, just video yourself, and then understand how many shots go into this half service box and behind, or half behind service box, sorry, out of 20 shots. And see just how many miss. So what I noticed from mine, the ones that I did then, the ball's not super warm as well, is a lot of them were landing around about here. They weren't bad for tightness and everything. So there's two components to your target. You've got your width from the side wall and you've got your depth to the back of the court. So a lot of mine were a little bit short, so I started to have to go a little bit higher. So I started to change what I perceived I was going to be able to do. Had to lift it a little bit higher because I need to get a bit more strength to get the ball harder and lower down the back as well. So there you go, get into it. Understand it's about the groupings, it's about how many bad shots more than it's about how many good shots that happen. We want to cut out the ones that are out in the middle of the court. If we can cut out the middle of the court ones, it makes all the difference in the world. It's just phenomenal what happens. So if you don't have any bad shots, you won't lose. Squash becomes taking your opponent's power away. In other words, it becomes relentless quality rather than the actual winner and everything like that as well. So if you can take their power away, you're basically in a position where they will present you with easy winners, and that's how life works. So there you go. Get in your groupings. Make sure your groupings are good. Out of 20 shots, you should only be 1 or 2, 3, 4, or whatever that you miss out here. Most of them should be in there, and 1 or 2 of them will always hit the shoe or the bit of paper or the whatever you want to put there if you want to put a visual target there as well. That's your groupings. You need to understand how to use them. They're a good thing to use.